Hi, my name is Katie Hansen, and this is going to be my presentation on the invasive lionfish. Lionfish put stress on ecosystems that they do not belong in. Lionfish eat herbivores that eat algae from coral reefs. Without the herbivores, algae grows unchecked and the health of coral reefs suffer. Also, lionfish have very few predators outside of their home range, and they mostly eat other fish. This can throw off the balance and ecosystem of the reefs. It makes it harder for other fish to survive, and because few animals will eat lionfish, they can quickly overwhelm a coral reef. In addition, female lionfish can lay up to 50,000 eggs every few days. So this basically means that lionfish can reproduce really, really quickly, and they only eat pretty much other fish, and so there'll be more lionfish than there'll be any other species in that area. And because nothing else eats them, they can just keep reproducing. And at this point, there are so many lionfish that the other fish that should be growing to maintain the ecosystem of coral reefs are suffering because there's not enough of them. Lionfish are native to the South Pacific and Indian Oceans. They are typically found in the tropics and in warm water, and have been found in a depth from 1 to 300 feet. Lionfish can consume over 50 different types of species of fish, and they are active hunters who ambush their prey by using their outstretched pectoral fins to slowly pursue and corner their prey. So lionfish are actually pretty slow most of the time, and they'll kind of like creep along and follow another fish until they can get them in a corner, and they'll use the fins on their back to inject venom into their prey and then consume them. Although lionfish have been used as a food source in their native range, economically they are far more important to the aquarium trade. So this means that lots of people take the lionfish and they'll actually house them in aquariums because people think they look pretty. They can actually be worth quite a bit of money. The only problem with this is that sometimes people go, oh, hey, I don't want this pet anymore, and they will release it into an ocean that it doesn't belong in. The spines in the lionfish are venomous and can cause extreme pain, sweating, respiratory distress, and even paralysis. The venom is released through the spines on their back. If you ever get stung, you should seek medical attention right away. Uh, it can cause death if it goes untreated. The venom is very toxic in large doses or to younger people. So, the problem with dead coral reefs is that it's going to cause a lot of problems overall. A lot of fish are going to lose their habitats. Experts predict that hunger, poverty, and political instability as the livelihoods of people may be affected if the coral reefs die. The ocean fishing industry, which employs 38 million people worldwide, would collapse. Caribbean island nations that depend on tourism dollars would see all of that disappear and likely suffer greatly. So, pretty much in the areas where coral reefs are dying because of these lionfish, uh, these areas that are at risk of total economic collapse because a lot of them rely pretty heavily on having tourists come in, go scuba diving and shopping in the area, and they wouldn't have that. Also, a lot of people would be out of jobs if the coral reefs die. Not to mention the fact that coral reefs uh, provide homes for a lot of different fish, and they are an important part of the ecosystem of the oceans. And if they're gone, that ecosystem is also gone, and we'll see a lot of different fish dying out because there's nowhere for them to go anymore. We don't know everything that will happen if coral reefs die, but we do know that none of it will be good. There is no benefit to having no coral reefs. help manage the lionfish population, people have begun eating the creatures. An article from the New York Times talks about a 3-woman team who caught 926 fish in only 48 hours. There are so many that it would be impossible to catch all of them, but every single one can make a difference. The fish are sold to local restaurants and used in cooking. So it's actually really important that because we can't do much to just get rid of these fish, that we try and eat them, or we try to catch them and get them out of the water, because every single one can make a difference. And the article I read, they compared catching these lionfish to kind of like picking up trash along a highway. You are more likely to catch a lionfish than you are to catch anything else in the coral reefs and around that area. That's how they were able to catch a whole 926 in only 48 hours, because that's pretty much all they were catching. Some areas, such as the Bermuda, have put a strict ban on the importation of live fish. This has proven a very effective way to prevent aquarium releases. In addition, educating everyone on the dangers of lionfish can be very effective. After all, if more people are aware of the problem, then it will be easier to solve. With more people searching for lionfish, they can be removed from the water in greater numbers. It's really important that you don't have these live fish moving from one area to another. So it's good that they put that ban there. It's kind of like how in Minnesota we have a ban on taking our boats from one lake to the next without getting them washed because of the zebra mussels. So that's basically what they're trying to do, is keep the fish where they are now and not spread from one reef to the next. Conducting more research can also be really helpful. We don't yet know all the ways to get rid of lionfish, but it is possible that we will learn more about them in the future and we'll be able to fix the problem. So lastly, to manage the lionfish population, some areas of the world have tried to find out if sharks can be trained to eat the lionfish, but because of their venomous spines, this has proved really difficult. This is a video about a lion shark, or sorry, not a lion shark, sorry, a reef shark learning to eat a lion shark. So basically, you can see that the humans are trying to spear feed the shark to teach it to learn and eat the creature. This has not yet proved very effective, and they don't see many sharks going after the lion shark, just like that. They'll mostly just eat them if they are sick or injured, and they won't like just go after a live one. And also feeding sharks like this can cause a problem. It will make younger sharks less effective at hunting, and there's been more shark attacks in areas where people are spear feeding fish like this. But the hope is that as these sharks start eating these lionfish, they will over time develop the ability to just hunt them and eat them on their own, so that the lionfish will have a predator other than humans, and they'll be able to take down some of the population. We're probably not going to get rid of all of the lionfish, but if we can control and manage the population, then we can save the coral reefs. And last of all, this is just my sources. I hope you learned a lot about the lionfish and that you have a really good day. Thanks for listening.